In today's world today, where things are changing quite rapidly, life is turning around quite fast all across the world. Coronavirus has come with so much that turn around the table, and before we know it, life has changed. But rapidly changing world, learning to lead our organization and to read the turbulences that comes with it is quite key. This is the CEO Bench, and of course, my guest on the CEO Bench this week and this particular morning or afternoon or night, depending on which part of the world you are in, needs no introduction. From the secret places of Orient in the West Nile Bank of Uganda to the modern masters of fashion and design as far as dressing people who are serious no matter in the world is concerned, is Santa ANZO. Santa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eddie.
How are you today?
I'm great.
And how have you been?
Well, I will say, cooking, gardening,
Yes.
loving my baby girl, and just spending time with my parents. I am blessed to still have them, both of them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just been enjoying home. We're under the lockdown.
Wow. That's a blessing right there. Santa, you are on the CEO Bench today, and I want to just dive straight to our interview. This program brings people like you who are already, riding to the top, already on the top, and people who are coming back from the top when they're retiring. But particularly in your case, you are a lady on a move right now.
Absolutely.
And you have a lot of fire going on right now.
Yes.
We want to start by first knowing who is Santa, and of course, who is Santa ANZO in a nutshell?
I'm just a very happy individual, with a very flourishing, beautiful spirit.
Okay.
That's me.
And if I am to look for you when I have not known, which part of this country do you come from? First of all, are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values that remind you?
I get that a
yes.
lot.
Yes.
I get to places and I'm either Nigerian or African American, but I'm actually very much Ugandan.
Yeah.
I am Madi from West Nile.
Okay.
That's just a few, my parents' home is a few kilometers from the Sudan, southern Sudan, but I am born in Kampala, so I am born, bred, groomed, developed in Kampala, Uganda. And actually right here, this is Kanjoja Street.
Bukoto Street.
Bukoto Street.
Yes.
I was born on Kanjoja Street, right behind.
Just the street above.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in my hood.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take this moment to welcome all you guys all across the world to the CEO Bench. And of course, it's been a while. It's been a moment where we had to go into a lockdown unprepared for it. But it is what it is that coronavirus brought to us. And of course, the CEO Bench has been on that small lockdown, but we're back. And Santa, growing up, we want to know from you, what did you ever want to be in life growing up?
Okay, I always wanted to make my daddy very proud in whatever it is that, I was gonna do. But, I knew that I was going to be in the creative industries anyway. Yeah. Be it fashion, that made itself out. Be it singing, because I did a lot of rapping in school.
Wow!
Yes, as a rap star. If there's anyone from Botiki College, Wairaka College, Jinja, Jiko, I did a lot of rapping. And then I have a gold medal in acting, so in stage. So I did a bit of acting right before I branched into modeling, and modeling then was it for me. So I always knew that I was going to be in the creative sector. Yes. Yes, but what inspired my fashion and modeling journey are two things. My mom always had a machine, making dresses, similar dresses, for her girls that would wear on sandals, all floral, all below the knee. And then I also was blessed to have my dad bring for us the sound of music video when we were little. And when I watched that, I fell in love with Maria, the lead actress, yes. And I would sing all her beautiful songs, and I would do her little, you know, round turns, yes, yes. And waltz a bit, but I did not touch the glory of the divine in the singing. I touched it when I was on the catwalk. The first day I did the catwalk, yeah. I captured. Wow. And I knew that that was my call.
Wow,
yes.
Wow. So, thanks to Daddy and Mommy, first of all, for the machine being home and making dresses from home. Yes. I think any African growing child then and now would very much relate with your story, because mothers used to make these things from home for their daughters, and it was such a big thing.
It was, and it's very important that we do it today as well, because you see, our parents came from an era of the British or the colonial rule. Yeah. So, you know, schooling was wholesome. Yeah. And so Mommy's teachers were, I believe, Scottish, British, and they taught her these things. And for her to be a complete woman, she had to do her math, pass it, do her English, do all her subjects, but at the same time they taught them to stitch proper clothing, hands, and also with machine, and then they also taught to cook and bake. Wow. So all those are skills that are life skills that I think that our children today need to be taught.
Wow.
Yes.
Which something we are not quite doing very well in this era. But Santa, did you ever see yourself becoming who you are today as a, you know, did you ever see yourself, did you ever, at one moment? I'm privileged to be born of a very successful father. I saw success from the time I was in Kanjocha Street. I always knew that I was going to be in the lane that I had seen my father in. I saw the cars that he rode in. They were very prestigious government cars. Yes. He worked for the government. He was very successful. Then he joined politics. You know, he's now retired, and you know, he'll be chairman of a university here. He'll be all those things, but he's you know, very instrumental in community. I wanted that for me. I did not see myself as doing what my mommy did, which are beautiful things that made me who I am, but I saw myself more in the line of my daddy. And I always knew that I was going to walk that walk. Okay. And so when in a nutshell, I knew that this was the walk I was gonna walk. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Wow. Well, we're having an interview with Santa ANZO, who is the CEO of Uganda International, founder and the CEO of Uganda International Fashion Week.
No, founder and president.
Founder and president, actually, yes, of Uganda International Fashion Week, as well as the founder and the MD and the chief designer of ARAPAPA by Santa ANZO. I'm sure you've interacted with ARAPAPA very much wherever you are. And to all of you guys from the US and the UK and Australia, and of course the guys in Denmark and Sweden, well, Santa ANZO is here. And of course, the people here at home, and of course, guys in Nairobi, we're going to have a good ride with Santa, you know, and talking about change management, leadership, and transformation. Santa, leadership is the core value of this TV program that you're on right now. And we look at it from a very interesting part. One, self-leadership. And first of all, before we get into the self-leadership, we want to know from you, to you, Santa ANZO, what is your definition of leadership?
You know, leadership is guidance. It can be mentorship. You know, just taking charge of a group or a segment or an industry or a nation, whatever it is. You are in a leadership, or you're in a position that guides. Yeah. Yes, that guides a vision, a mission, goals.
Wow.
Yes.
And on that note, and with that definition on leadership, are you a leader?
Yes, I've always been a leader.
Okay.
And I think that parents need to be keen to see this about their children. My mommy didn't see it. I think I was just I was just this problem and the gezi happening to her all the time.
Yeah.
But as little as, you know, probably primary, I was always having bull regiments, doing things. You know, I would lead them in a game, I would lead them in a play, I would lead them in tapo, I would lead them around William Street where I grew up as a little girl, you know. And then I moved into school. Primary, I was mostly in a girl guide and in the drama and dance class. I wasn't a leader there. But in secondary, my leadership skills came to the top. I was always a prefect. My first role was a prefect of furniture. I was in charge of the inventory in my school. And then after that, I was the women affairs minister. Wow. And then I was also, you know, always vice chairperson of, you know, the social groups in school. I was an eagle. My social group was an eagle. So I was the vice chair there. And, you know, all through. So it's not by accident that when I started modeling, there was a vacuum. There was no leadership. There were no professional management agencies for models at that time. And I had this burning desire to be on stage and walk it. So I found myself again assembling, putting together all the interested girls and boys who were mostly my age then, and get them onto the, you know, onto the catwalk, and then seek out, you know, sponsorships, seek out partnerships with, you know, the hotels, with corporate companies to see to it that our activities would be funded. So in so doing, I was just chasing a dream, but actually I was being a leader. And then there's no telling that immediately after fashion, fashion was formed as a career right after modeling. And also there was a vacuum in fashion. And because of the Uganda International Fashion Week and the goals and ideals that I was pushing forth, I found myself rising up. And so guys like yourselves, sir, and everybody else then would be calling me in response, you know, to respond or to advise on matters, fashion, matters, entrepreneurship, matters, modeling. Wow. So I am a leader.
Wow.
Thank you.
Let's talk about self-leadership. Your story is quite very fascinating from where you're coming, you know, from. A lot of people don't know where to start from and when to start. And this particular program, the CEO Bench, looks quite very deeply into self-leadership. If you were to define self-leadership, given your story, what would be the definition? And in a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say has been your leadership journey? Self-leadership.
I think it's been very progressive. It's still a journey for me. I am telling you that I am functioning at 6% as far as I'm concerned. I haven't even gotten to my 20%, and yet I have to hit 100%. You know, so it's been very progressive. I have a very long way to go. I am open to unlearning and learning, and I'm doing a lot of that. But I will say that self-leadership has no definition for as long as you are not self-aware. It starts with getting to know who you really are. There has to be a need or a deep need within oneself to identify who they are. And the only way one can do that is, excuse me for preaching, but you have to be tagged and in sync with the Creator. We didn't create ourselves. And even as amazing as you may think that I am, I can assure you that I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't say prayer this morning. And so you need to be into your source, who is your creator, that is where you delve deep into your inner man. Yeah. Your inner man is where God lives. Yeah. He tells you who you are. He tells you who you are. He tells you your dreams and aspirations and actually guides you on that path. Yeah. And so for me, it starts with a journey of self-awareness, self-knowledge, accepting yourself, and then getting to know your values. And then trying, much as we fail, we must remain honest to our journey and our values, and then living by them. That is, for me, the beginning and end of self-leadership.
Wow. Well, you have gotten the best definition so far for leadership, self-leadership. And of course, in summary, Santa is saying you need to define who you are, you need to find who you are, find self, give self meaning, and continuously put self on the path that leads self to a meaningful journey. But doing that, you must have a spirit in you that continue to guide you to the next step. If you veer off from that spirit or from that path, then there's a possibility that you will not be able to realize who you are and what values you stand for. Stay right there, we're going for a break, and when we come back, Santa will be taking us through a little bit more about leadership journey as Santa ANZO from, Uganda International Fashion Week through to ARAPAPA, and of course, the journey of going to the world. How do you lead yourself? How do you start? How do you move? What do you do? What are the journeys? What are the things, the do's and don'ts? Stay right there, we'll be right back after the break. This is the CEO Bench.